Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a review of My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me, Episode 2. You know, I did cover this last week, and I saw this rom-com as a sign of this is the rom-com everyone was saying. Yes, and there's another rom-com that I'm going to cover as well, but it's probably going to be tomorrow. I just want to get this out the way because this episode, I did not suspect this. I didn't expect this. Now, I would have covered it, but it was Comic-Con fever, and I was like, plus, look at this shirt. Look at this shirt. I ain't gonna lie to you. I freaking love this shirt. You know how many times I've seen this at conventions? And I always said to myself, where'd you get that shirt? Where'd you get that shirt? Now I'm one of them. And I gotta say, this is out of all the t-shirts I have, this right here is in the top three. Top three favorite shirt. Now, also I was saying. So the storyline behind My Friend's Little Sister Has An In For Me was, it kind of like, the friend has a crush on the MC and keep toying with her like Nakatoro status. The only difference is she's way hotter than Nakatoro. And the cousin, this is where the cousin comes in the world of Yushoku no Sora. The only difference is they're cousins. And aside from that, the pacing of the storyline makes absolutely sense, showing off that Akiteru and his band of video game creators, you know, to make a name for it. And what a thing about this is that there are some things that kept quiet. Everybody in rom-coms have a skeleton in their closets. They don't want to reveal themselves, their true beings. The teacher in 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, which I covered, by the way, the sensei, she has black hair, but she turned out to be a cosplayer. And not only that, she was one of the famous cosplayers of the 4 horsewomen of cosplayers. This episode is one of those where you're like, looks can be deceiving. Everyone has skeletons in their closets, and everybody's not afraid to speak out, which we got. So without further ado, let's get right to it. The review of this show, My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me, Episode 2. All right, so, Mashiro. Okay. My friend yesterday brought something up to my attention. My friend brought my attention, and I didn't realize it till now. Mashiro looks like Fiona Frost from Spy X Family. And I didn't really think about that till I really looked at her close, because when you look at Fiona from Spy X Family, Fiona had that hair white down. Like, she had the same haircut as her, and she has her hair covering her eye. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, Mashiro is the same damn thing. And Mashiro is a tsundere thing. Rom-coms, here's the thing about rom-coms. We gotta take this into consideration. When it comes to rom-coms, 90% of rom-coms, the tsundere girls always get the MC. Because tsunderes know that they love the guy, but they don't want to reveal it. Just like that other anime I cover with Akine being the tsundere girl and she living with the MC or whatnot. I can see that. But again, there are a few points of rom-coms where the tsundere girl gets the guy. And this case, I see it in Mashiro. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's his cousin. They're cousins. They have to pretend to be their boyfriend. I don't strongly support that shit. I strongly support that. But I get where this is going. Like, they're cousins. It's like there's two roads here. On the one side, there's cousins. That's wrong. Definitely wrong. But on the other side, they're cousins. On the other side, she's a tsundere. And like I said, tsunderes always get the love. Now, Mashiro has been Mashiro, right off the gate, when she first started school, right off the freaking gate, everybody, she literally blasts out. She's like, oh, we met in the bathroom and all that stuff. And then when she sat next to him, which I'm not surprised, that's how it's rom-com, they sit next to the person, she goes off the wall and said, get out of my face, you piece of shit. It's like she has two sides of a coin. On the one hand, she's all dendere, kundere, like all shyness. And I do like shy girls in anime, by the way. She's all that. But then she went from that around people. But when she goes speak to the MC's just like, she's all tsundere. She's like on and off with this girl. Like, oh my God. Now, the senpai thing, the girl, look. Iroha, she is a bona fide favorite girl of this show. I believe she's my favorite girl. I know we're 2 episodes in, but watching her personality as she toying with the MC is hilarious. I mean, there were moments in this episode where she using her boobs as power to like clink on the MC, put it on her, even put it on her head. Not only that, just grabbed her by the back. Yo, she's just trolling with her, and that's what we got. We got a lot of trolling here. Now, speaking of looks can be deceiving, it's the teacher. The teacher, Sumire. This is the teacher I'm talking about, the venomous teacher herself. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I first saw the first episode of this, two things came in my head watching the first episode. One, I noticed that she was part of the big five in this gaming company because it was so obvious that these, like, the based off the shadowy figures, like who's that Pokemon look, like who's that Pokemon, you know? And I'm looking at these five, and these five are the same. We notice how these are the five: Akiteru, Mashiro, Iroha, her brother Azuma, and Sumire. I know those was the five, and then that other part, it shows Sumire doing something, and I'm like, that's two things I know. But what I didn't know was this. One, the MC met the teacher in a convention, anime convention, and she was selling nothing but doujin stuff. And mind you, and I didn't know that. And two, she's into Sota. She's a Sota lover at its core. Because that funny scene when he told her what happened, when she told her about what's your progress, all that stuff, and keep an eye on her, she's like, sorry, I don't date anybody with 15 or more. I'm like, whoa. 911, this is an emergency. There's this teacher here who's going out with this boy who's like 7 years old. You know, that's how it is. I swear, that caught me off guard. And the thing is, she has a secret making Shota-kun type vibe thing to a point I'm like, wait a minute. Is this Kobayashi Dragon Maid? That's the first thing that came to my mind. Because if you look at Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid, you see Sota and Lukua. And, you know, that's what I'm looking at it from this perspective. The way how she's all servant-like. She's like, please have mercy, please. She's all like, it's like, that secret dorm is letting out her inner love for Sota. Like in the surface, she's all teacher, having that venomous look, telling people, do your homework, I better see some progress, do this and that. She's so strict. But when it gets to that point, when in the dungeon, I call it the dungeon, with everything BDSM, like, and the MC sitting on the throne, she's all like, what? Look, I did not suspect that. And Plus, she's an illustrationist. Like, the thing is, though, I kind of put one and one together because first she draws like illustration stuff. So to make her an illustration, to make her work at a gaming with the illustration. So yeah, but she hasn't done not one thing, not one. But now we know, and the thing is, he has the weapon to keep it a secret. So he just. Yeah, that's very interesting. That's something I did not suspect, that she's into the Sota thing vibe. And so, I know this is wrong, take this out of context. I know I'm taking this out of context. For those of you who's like 14, get a shot at this teacher before you turn 15. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I took it out of context. Now, back to what I was saying. So now, you know what's funny? Iroha meeting Mashiro for the first time, I did not suspect that too early. I thought it would go like episode 3. But that's just funny right there. I did not suspect that. I mean, even Mashiro going really, really tight with this. Like, you could see the jealousy that Iroha and Akihiro has for each other, and that's that. Now, another thing, and props for the MC, trying so hard to get Mashiro's attention and liking her. Like, put a leash around her neck, putting a leash around his neck, making food for her. Like, she tried everything just for Mashiro not to curse at him and just saying how disgusting you are. She tried. I'm sorry. he tried. The MC tried. Like really. I mean, props for Iroha, just making some ideas. And then another twist I did not suspect is that all these five are next door neighbors. To be honest with you, I didn't see that because I thought like maybe the teacher lives about a block or two, or maybe the brother and sisters, or maybe the Ara and Azuma brother and sister, they live about around the corner from the house or anything like that. But I did not suspect all of them live in one huge apartment next door to each other. Like, it's like, here's the thing, 501, apartment 501 is Mashiro. Apartment number 2 is Akiteru. Apartment number 3, apartment 504, I'm just gonna put an example. 501 is a Mashiro. 502 is Akiteru. 503 is the brother and sister Iroha and Azuma. And then 504 is the teacher. So all of them is just next door neighbors, each of, and I'm like, that's one thing I did not suspect. I did not see that coming. But damn, that was good. But overall though, this episode was really good. I mean, we got to see Mashiro in her tsundere-like vibe. But the biggest thing, talk about episode 2 got a lot of, like, how do I put this? So many identity, so many revealings in this episode. I mean, like, for example, Mashiro revealing her more tsundere-like vibe, which we all know, like, we see 2 sides of her on that one. We got to see a little bit of fan service of Iroha just trolling the MC with her boobs. But the fact that the fact that this teacher, Sumire, has a dark side, a little dark side, wink wink, and that's with the whole Sota thing. Yeah, I think it's time to say, like, for those of us who's now in the current age, let's not date her. Let's not date her. I mean, like, if you're 13 or 14, you got a shot. Just try not to be, just let's push her out of the way and like accept it. But again, that was a revealing thing. There was just so many reveals. So thank you for watching my review of this show. Tomorrow I'm gonna cover 2 more shows if possible. One of which is the other rom-com and the Yuri anime, which I got time if I ever do it. So thank you for watching.